Hello everybody, this is Ryguy from the Cardfight Pros, and today I'm going to be showing you my Rising Nova deck profile from the Technical Booster, Reckless Rampage. I'm going to start out with the grade 3s. So first off we have Exceptional Expertise, Rising Nova. His GB2 skill is Auto Vanguard. Choose a card from your hand, you put it on in your soul. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you can pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to one card, call it to your open rear guard, and shuffle your deck. Yes, it's pretty standard G Spike Brother effect. A lot of abilities have a similar effect to this. You wouldn't use this probably a whole lot, you'll mainly be striding. And using his second skill, which is Auto Vanguard. During your turn when your G unit strides, you choose up to one of your Vanguards. Until the end of that turn, it gets Auto Vanguard. You Karma-Blast one, and you choose a card from your hand, and you put it in the soul. When this unit attacks Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to one card, call it to an open rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that unit gets power plus 5,000 until the end of turn. This can combo off with a lot of other rear guards. You get to search your deck for any card, which is great. I went over this in my analysis video if you want to check that out, but yeah, I like this card a lot. It's a good break stride overall. One of the better ones, I would say. You know, I'm kind of biased. Alright, and then we have two Bulldozer Dobbs, or Dobe, he's now called. This guy is really good. Alright, so he has Charge, which means when he's placed on rear guard during the, or by an effect, it gets well, it usually gets a skill, but I guess that's not really in the specific text. Sorry. It just becomes charged, and then once after it attacks with its charges, put on the bottom. Spike Brothers always done this, but now they put a keyword to it. So that's kind of cool. So his effect is Generation Break 1. If this unit is in charge, it gets 10,000 power. So this guy is hitting for huge numbers a lot of the time. You can call it out like once or twice every single turn. It's usually like 26, 31, something like that. In this specific deck. The reason you only run 2 is because you need him in the deck to call out. So running, personally, I don't think you should run 4 because you're not gonna damage check 2 unless you're really unlucky. And I guess you can run other grade 3s instead, and it still works perfectly fine because you don't need him in your hand. You actually don't want him in your hand unless, well, in a few scenarios like with Dampier Lily. But other than that, keeping him in the deck is perfectly fine. And then my last grade 3 is Hivemaker. He's just kind of an additional backup just in the rare chance you won't get Rising Nova. He has a Auto Vanguard skill, which is Karma-Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. You search for one card with the charge ability, and you show it to your opponent, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So yeah, Adobe is a pretty bad Vanguard to be on. He's completely vanilla. This guy at least has somewhat of an ability, a +1 I guess. And then his rear guard ability is also really good, Hivemaker's. Well, he has charge, and then he has Generation Break 1. If this unit is charging, this unit gets auto, Karma-Blast 1. When this unit is put into your deck from rear guard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one card from your hand, and you call it to open rear guard. So it's kind of like Skydiver. After it attacks, it goes back in the deck if it's charged, and then you just Karma-Blast 1, and then you call a card from your hand. So it has some uses there. Of course, you don't always have to use him or something. You only have 2 of him on this deck and call out many. It's basically just an option card. Spike Brothers now have a lot of utility, I guess. You can deal with a lot of different situations. You run a lot of different types of cards in your deck. So this guy's just an option. It's pretty nice. If you want to push for game, you could possibly even with that skill because it's honestly pretty strong. Alright, going to grade 4s. We'll do Shoot Down King Miracle Ace first. His skill, Act Vanguard, once per turn. You Karma-Blast 1 and you choose a face down card named him from your G zone and turn it face up. Until the end of the turn, this unit gets Auto Vanguard. When your rear guard is put into your deck, you choose up to one of your units and it gains power 5,000 until the end of the turn. And it gets Auto Vanguard Generation Break 3. You Soul Blast 2. When your rear guard is put into your deck, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one card from your hand and call it to an open rear guard. So this card you could only run 2 of, because that Generation Break 3 ability, that's Soul Blast 2, you're not going to use that more than once per game. I pretty much can guarantee that. You can use this as a first ride if you're thinking you can finish with Dirty Picaro. So that's pretty much the reason why I have 4. I mean, you don't even have to finish, you can just use them second with Picaro. You could go Miracle Ace, Picaro, and then finish with Miracle Ace if you so chose. But and the other reason why I run 4 instead of 2 is because, like, looking at the other stride units, well, these 2 won't do anything. You could take 2 out and add some more of her and him, I guess. But I honestly, Spike Brother games are supposed to be fast. Obviously, rushing them down. If your game lasts that long, you're probably doing something wrong. Or your opponent's just really powerful, I guess, and has like 100 million cards in their hand. So, yeah, I don't see you having to use Flash Bruise or Dampier Lily more than 3 times. I don't know. It's just another. That's just what I personally like. But I mean, of course, budget. If you want a budget deck, 2 is really a-okay. Alright, so now we run 2 Great Villainous, Dampier Lily. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you choose up to 1 card with the charge ability from your hand, you call it to rear guard until the end of the turn, and that unit gets power plus 5,000, and when this unit is put in the deck from rear guard, you draw a card. So this card is semi-situational because you need a charge card in your hand. So before you stride into her, you want to make sure you either want one in your hand or you're pretty sure you're going to have one in your drive check, which that's kind of risky, but yeah, I guess you can try for that. Otherwise though, having a charge card in your hand is really good with her. I mean, drawing it, when it gets the whatever ability it has, whatever charge card it is, and then when it goes back in the deck, you still get to draw a card to replace that. So that's really good. This or Flash Bruise can be your first stride, or Miracle Ace if you want. One of those are going to be the first stride. And depending on if you have a charge card in your hand, you're going to go for Dampier Lily or Flash Bruise. So Flash Bruise's skill is Auto Vanguard. You choose 1 card from your hand, you put in your soul. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, you pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for a card, call it to rear guard, and shuffle your deck. Until the end of the turn, that unit gets power plus 5,000. So if you have no charge cards in your hand, I mean, I guess if your hand really low, I guess you can use him. He's a good backup for Dampier Lily. But most of the time, I would say Dampier Lily is the way to go. Just because, well, if you look at it like this, this is like a break even with the plus 5,000, so it's like a soft plus. And then depending on what effect you have, this could potentially be a bigger plus. I don't know, it's all about the situation. That's why you run both. I just run 2 of her because I've used her more, I guess. I've had more use in her lately in this specific deck. And then lastly, we want to run a Great Villain Dirty Picaro. So his Auto Vanguard Generation Break 3, Counterblast 2, and you choose a face down card from your G-Zone, and you turn face up. And you choose a card from your hand, and you put it in the soul. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search for up to 1 card from your deck for each face-up card in your G-Zone. And call the cards that were searched as ever open rear guards, and shuffle your deck. This card it adds a lot to Spike Brothers. It can be used as setup, it can be used as a finisher. You can use it second stride if you stride Miracle Ace first. That's all I really have to say about it. I think I said more in the other video. I just can't remember right now. But yeah, I run 1 because Counterblast 2 is a pretty hefty cost. And even with your Unflipper Perfect cards and like Healed Triggers, I don't see you having to use him more than once. Alright, down to grade 2s. we'll go running 3 Windkiller Misery, the Amber Clone, Generation Break 1, you combo one, choose a card from your hand, and you put in your soul. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this unit is boosted, you can pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card not named Windkiller Misery. You call it to an open rearguard. You shuffle your deck, and that unit gets 5,000 power until the end of the turn. This is a really strong card. It's good in like any Spike Brother deck ever, not just Rising Nova. So that's all you really have to say. It just continues the assault. It keeps on, pumping up your rearguards, I guess. Just for 1 Counter Blast. So you just have to make sure you have a booster behind her, which is, I mean, in other decks it's not a problem. In Spike Brothers, I don't know. I generally don't have boosters sometimes, or in my old games, I guess now you gotta have one, but it doesn't matter a whole lot. Next we have 3 Axe Diver, Generation Break 1. You Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on a rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Rising in its name, you may excuse me, you may pay the cost. If you do, you choose up to 1 of your other rearguards, you bind it face up, and then you call that card from the bind zone to an open rearguard. And then if this unit is charging, the unit called with this effect and this unit get 5,000 power. Yeah, this card is exceptional. Like, this is what'll get you to kill him on your first try, potentially, and extra 5k to him, extra 5k to what he calls. I said more about it in the other video if you want a deeper explanation. But yeah, it's a really good card. The reason, I'll say this later. I'll say why I only run 3 of each later on after I finish up. I run 1 Cobalt Impulse. Alright, he has charge, and he has auto rearguard Generation Break 1. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, if this unit is in charge, you draw a card. You choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So, not many people are running this card, but I feel it does have value in certain situations, and therefore I run 1 of it, just so I can maybe tech it in some situations. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Running different grade 2s in Spike Brothers never really hurts, because they're all usually hitting for like 24 or something anyway. But, so yeah, that's my reason behind it. I like to have options, I guess. It makes it more fun too. And like if their hand's really low, I'll do Cobalt Impulse. If they have a lot of damage, you'll like do Heavy Wheeze. You know, if you need more attacks, you do Windkiller or Axe Diver. So yeah, that's my reason behind it. Just having a lot of options will help increase, maybe consistency. Yeah, I'd say consistency and effectiveness of your deck for sure. Alright, so next we run 3 Heave Wheeze. He's similar to Bulldozer Dobe. He has charge, and then Generation Break 1. If this unit is charging, it gets 10,000 power. It's pretty strong. He is more often than not who you're going to be calling with like Dhampir Lily. Having him in your with running 3. It may seem like maybe it might not seem like a lot, but to you, but it did seem like a lot to me at first. At first, I thought I should only run a few, like 1 maybe at 1 or 2 of these. But yeah, after testing with 3 is pretty good. He comes in a lot. Having him on my rear guard is really good with Axe Diver. Yeah, that's about it. And then I'm running 2 10k vanillas, just because he's good as a grade, grade 2 ride. And I don't know, just add a little variety, I guess. And this card was like my favorite card right when I started Spike Brothers, so I add him back in the deck. I mean, you could run 4 Axe Diver and 4 Misery if you want, if you really want. I don't think many people would actually though, because that's a lot of counter blasting, and you really don't need that many 4-ofs in Spike Brothers, except in like Ogles when you're riding, or when you're running Frozen Ogle. There's probably only 4 of grade 2 or lower, you would most people usually go for in Spike Brothers. Just for the reason that you're constantly tutoring cards from your deck, and therefore having more options is better. Alright, grade 1s, running 4 Acrobat Verity, the Stride Enabler. You run 4 of him for obvious reasons, striding, and because you really want Rising Nova. It's for his, because of his first ability. Alright, then we're running 4 G Perfect Guards. Spike Brothers really doesn't have much of an... The only unflipping engine Spike Brothers has is these G Perfect Guards and these Silence Joker crits. I'm pretty sure that's... Oh, no, I lied. And then Jumbo the Stun Gun. But, yeah, that's it. So, yep. And you really don't need to... Most of your guys go back in the deck anyway. So, you know the argument, like saying, oh, the cross is going to attack my rearguard. Well, if you don't have a rearguard, it can't attack it, so, yeah. G Perfect Guards are the way to go for Spike Brothers. Then we're running 3 Frog Raider. Auto Generation Break 1. When your unit with the charge ability is placed on rearguard in the same column as this, due to an effect from one of your cards, if you have a Vanguard with Rising in his card name, stand this unit. This is really strong, just adding consistent boosting power for every single attack instead of just saving up for the last one like you had to do in Old Spike Brothers. Yeah, you run 3 of this because this is one of the rearguards that you want to have permanently on the field. Just because, you know, it doesn't have charge, and a lot of the other rearguards, they'll be going back to the deck. But this is probably one of the few rearguards you're going to have stuck on the field. Just for that free 7k boost for each of your attacks, or in that column, of course. Then we're running 2 Moodmaker Niantic. It's the only charge grade 1, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, looks like it. This card's really good. Just adds extra power to the boost, add extra power to other cards. Calling it out with Dirty Pickerel mainly is great. I really honestly don't see you see him being called out with Rising Nova or any of these other cards all that often. Maybe in like certain small scenarios, but yeah, he's there, I guess. Yeah, just for options, of course. Once again, 90. Alright, for triggers, you run Trigger Adelaide. Yep, this card is so broken. I mean, yeah, I can't even describe how OP this card is. I mean, you have this card in your deck, you pretty much win the game. Bushiroad needs to ban this. Like, it's too good. Then we have 4 Tree Full Lengths and 2 Mech Advisor. Doesn't matter what draw you have, they're all vanillas. But running 6, around 6 and 6. 6 draws because a lot of your effects make you put a card from your hand on the soul, so therefore you need a lot of cards in your hand, and draw triggers are great to just stick them in the soul because they're kind of useless. And the draw power is really nice. I was thinking I might bump it up, but yeah, I don't know. That seemed like, what is that, 7 draws? It seems like a lot. And you still like crits for those. I mean, they're not necessary, of course, but they're nice early game to get them even more damage, and you can kill them sooner. And if you have too many draws, that 5k, having like barely any 10k shields starts to make a difference. You can feel it. I've tested 8 draws before, and yeah, you have like a massive hand, but then it can all go away in like one turn just because you have to use like 3 cards to guard every single attack. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. 6 has been pretty good in my opinion. Alright, so then we run 4 Silence Joker. This crit's important because it helps you unflip. You can win a lot of games just by unflipping 1 damage. It sounds kind of funny, but it's true. And then we run 2 Liar Lips, the Rising crit, where when your Vanguard with Rising in his name attacks, you put the crit in the soul, and then give it 5k and you get to draw a card. I've never used it, but it's you could use any crit, I guess, but I don't know. It I got myself confused by this card. Yeah, just run whatever crit you want, I guess. This one's shiny, so I just run it. Alright, then for the starter, you run Mecha Trainer. The best starter in the game, in my opinion. This new starter is actually Mecha Analyzer. I actually like it a lot. Like, it has a lot of uses. But still, I think Mecha Trainer is just too good to... It's too good to not use. Counterblast 1, you retire it, and then search your deck for any grade 1 add to your hand. I mean, you have Perfect Guards, you have Frog Raider, you have Stride Enablers. Just any one of those cards, you just Counterblast 1 and you get it to your hand. So, if you're going to die next turn, get a Perfect Guard. If you want to rush them down this turn and win, you get Frog Raider. If you need to Stride next turn, you get Rarity. It just adds a whole lot to the consistency of the deck. I really recommend using him. Yeah, we also got a grade 3 searcher, which is really nice. Mainly in bad end decks, you would maybe use this, but I still believe Mecha Trainer's too strong to not use. Alright, there's my deck. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.